This is Sleepy Nirvana. Tonight, a walking meditation. Ancient wisdom from the Buddha, Aristotle, and Lao Tzu. What happens when you walk? Not where you're going, not how fast, just the walking itself. Your foot lifts, hangs in the air a moment, meets the ground. Aristotle paced while he taught. The Buddha walked dusty roads in northern India, teaching his monks to feel each step. Lao Tzu reminded us that a 1,000-mile journey begins with a single step. Tonight, we walk with them. You learned to walk before you could speak, before you had words for anything. Your legs still carry that knowledge. Let your breath settle. Let your shoulders soften. We begin here, in a body that knows how to move one step at a time. The steps will keep coming. Think about the last time you walked anywhere. Where were you headed? What occupied your thoughts? A conversation you kept replaying? A worry about tomorrow? Now think about what your feet were doing during all that mental activity. You don't know. Walking runs so deep in the body's memory that we forget it's happening. We've been doing it since we were toddlers, wobbling across living room floors while adults cheered and clapped. The cheering stopped. Walking became invisible. We notice walking when we trip, when the ground turns rough. Smooth, ordinary walking happens without our awareness, like breathing. The body handles it. The mind drifts off. By the time you reach adulthood, you've taken around 200 million steps. Most of them you missed. You weren't there for the weight shifting, the foot meeting the ground. The mind had more pressing concerns. It always does. But this automatic mode doesn't stay confined to walking. It spreads. We eat dinner without tasting it. Our attention fixed on screens or whatever thoughts drift through. We drive familiar routes and arrive with no memory of the journey. We move through weeks without quite inhabiting them. The body stays here, the mind goes elsewhere. Eastern philosophy caught this long ago. Buddhist teachers call it mindlessness. Mind absent from what's happening right now. Taoist sages watched how humans struggle with being where they are. A cat walks to the food bowl without rehearsing tomorrow's hunt. A tree grows without worrying about next winter's frost. But humans drift through time, wandering into past and future, rarely landing in now. Walking brings us back. It's so ordinary we overlook it. No mountains to climb, no monasteries to enter. Just attention to what's already happening. And walking is always happening. We walk to the bathroom and the kitchen. We walk through parking lots and down hallways. Absent. Gone. We could be there. Walking resists achievement. You can walk faster or slower, longer or shorter, but the walking stays the same. One step, then another. If you're exhausted by achievement, let this in. Our culture turns everything into a project to optimize. Apps track your meditation streaks and hand out badges for consistency. Walking resists all of this. There's nothing to win. If you spend your days striving, your body can do this without instruction. It has been walking for decades. Just walking. When you were a child, walking was different. You noticed ants on sidewalks. You crouched down for cracks in pavement, picked up pebbles you wanted to keep. The world fascinated you. You weren't trying to get anywhere. Adults found this maddening. Come on, hurry up. We're going to be late. So you learned to stop looking. You learned that walking was transportation, something to get through so you could arrive at the important part. But the important part never stayed still. You arrived at school and waited for recess. Recess came and you waited for summer. Summer arrived and you waited for whatever came next. Then the next thing. Walking turned into rushing, and rushing became how you moved through everything. You stopped noticing what was right under your feet. Wonder hasn't gone anywhere. It waits beneath decades of urgency. Children don't possess some faculty that fades with age. They just haven't learned to look past what's right in front of them. Nobody taught them yet to care more about where they're going than where they are. You can unlearn this. It takes time and it won't be complete, but unlearning is possible. Wonder shows itself when you bother to look. Ants cross the sidewalk with crumbs. The pavement has cracks, forming patterns you've walked past 1,000 times without seeing. The ground meets your feet the way it always has. Attention, that's all there is to it. You learned to walk before your thinking mind had even formed. Babies never analyze walking. They try, fall, try again. The legs figure out coordination on their own. The brain builds neural pathways that will last a lifetime. Language and concepts arrive much later. The thinking mind takes charge only after walking is already known. Walking is stored in a different kind of memory. A memory woven through muscle and nerve, not the kind you use to recall facts or events. When you walk, you're not remembering how to walk. You're just walking. The body knows. Eastern traditions call this embodied wisdom. It lives in the tissues. Your body is wise in ways your mind can't comprehend. It knows how to digest food and heal wounds and fall asleep. What the body knows on its own, the mind interferes with. You're playing an instrument or swinging a golf club, and then you start thinking about it. You stumble when thought arrives. The body was handling things fine until the mind showed up with its opinions. Walking stays immune to this because we don't think about it at all. But the principle holds. When we trust the body, things flow. When we second guess it, things get awkward. Zen Buddhism speaks of beginner's mind, the openness and curiosity of meeting something for the first time. The body never lost its beginner's relationship to walking. Each step arrives fresh, a new negotiation with gravity. No expectations from the last 10,000. This step only. The mind decided long ago that walking is boring, solved, not worth attention. It moved on to more interesting problems. But the body is here, finding the ground, making quiet adjustments, doing something miraculous without fanfare. Consider what's happening when you take a single step. 1 foot lifts, Your hip flexes, your knee bends. The ankle finds its angle. The other leg bears all your weight, making adjustments too small for you to notice. The lifted foot swings forward. Your arms swing the opposite direction to keep you balanced. Your eyes read the ground ahead, while your inner ear tracks where you are in space. The foot comes down, heel first, then rolling through, pushing off from the toes. The impact travels upward through you. The body absorbs it, uses it. Then it all happens again. You don't need to pay attention to any of this. You don't tell your muscles what to do. You don't calculate angles or measure forces. The body handles it. It has since you were a child. When you trust the body, you begin to trust life. We pour energy into controlling things. We grip outcomes as if thinking harder could change what happens. But the body shows us another way. The body trusts. It takes a step without knowing where it will land. It falls forward and catches itself. Your body does this every time you walk. It doesn't wait for certainty. It moves before the ground is guaranteed. And you can move too. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, spent most of his life teaching people how to walk. Adults who had been walking since toddlerhood came to learn from him. His instruction was simple. I have arrived, I am home. Right now, in this step, arrived home. We treat the present moment as a stepping stone to a better place. We're always on our way. The current moment is just the gap between where we were and where we're going. It doesn't count. Thich Nhat Hanh saw it differently. The present moment is the only solid ground. The past has dissolved. The future hasn't happened. Now is all that's real, and if we can't find peace now, we won't find it later either. Because later will also be now when it arrives. Our minds wander to other times. We replay conversations wondering if we said the wrong thing. We anticipate problems, rehearsing solutions for things that won't happen. The body is always here. It walks on this ground, breathes this air. When we bring attention to the body, to the feet and the breath, we anchor ourselves in now. There's no other place to be. Let that settle. We hear this and nod, then spend our days as if we should be further along. The teaching of walking meditation is that this step is enough. This moment is whole. You are already where you need to be. Rest doesn't require stopping. It can be found in motion. The walking itself is peace. Walking has always been here. We have not always walked with attention. The ancient monks discovered that each step could open into depth. In 335 BC, a man named Aristotle returned to Athens. He'd been away 12 years. He studied with Plato, crossed the Mediterranean, tutored a young Macedonian prince who would conquer most of the known world. But now Plato was dead. The prince had become Alexander the Great, and Aristotle had his own ideas that needed room. He found room in a grove northeast of the city, a public gymnasium dedicated to Apollo Lyceus. The Athenians called it the Lyceum. Aristotle would make it famous. Other philosophers lectured from fixed positions. Aristotle walked. He strolled through covered walkways called peripatoi. His students clustered around him. As he walked, he talked. Students raised questions, they made arguments. A thought would surface and get challenged, then return in new form. His students became known as peripatetics, the wanderers, the ones who walk about. Aristotle chose this on purpose. Movement stirred thought. What refused to budge while sitting would loosen once his feet began to move. Footsteps pulled thinking along with them. Afternoon light through the columns, sandals on stone, young men, wealthy and poor alike, trailing their teacher. Aristotle would speak, then pause, then ask. The students answered, argued among themselves. Words and footsteps echoing together off the walkway. They thought while they moved. The body carried the mind through space, and the walking path wore itself into the teaching. Walking together made for a different kind of learning than sitting in rows. When you sit facing a teacher, the posture says everything. The teacher talks. You listen. Words go one way. But when you walk beside someone, that person becomes a companion. You're heading the same direction, even if you've covered that same walkway 100 times before. When you walk, silence feels right. You don't have to fill every moment with words. You can go quietly for a while, let an idea settle, then pick up the conversation when a new thought arrives. You can try out an idea and let it go without losing face. Let's think about it this way, you might say. And if it doesn't hold, you keep walking. Your feet carry you past it. Another step comes, another thought. Aristotle sensed what science would later confirm. A short stroll shifts your mood and clears your head. Walking creates rhythm too. Footsteps give the mind a beat. The body repeats its motion and the mind loosens. Thoughts wander where they will. A decision that felt impossible at your desk begins to shift on a walk. You turn a corner and the knot gives a little. The Greeks understood we are not minds trapped in bodies. What the body experiences shapes how we think. Walking and thinking go together. Aristotle rarely walked alone. Philosophy for him was a thing done with others. We often imagine the wise hermit on a mountain, the monk sealed in a cave. But the peripatetics worked differently. Ideas came into being between people, in shared footsteps. Walking beside another person creates its own closeness. You're not facing each other, so there's no intensity of eye contact. You're both looking ahead at the path, at the world around you. Two people moving toward the same horizon. The rhythm of movement loosens tongues. Words that might stick in your throat while sitting across a table come more freely when your feet are moving. The body remembers this kind of togetherness. The destination didn't matter to the peripatetics. Walking wasn't about getting anywhere. It was about thinking and talking together while moving. The covered walkways of the Lyceum formed a circuit. You could walk around and around, passing columns and trees, moving through light and shadow, and never arrive. Philosophy done in company, not in solitude. When you walk with another person, your steps fall into rhythm. Your pace matches theirs. You exchange ideas. But there's also a kind of thinking that happens between two people walking that doesn't happen any other way. Even walking alone, we're in dialogue with ourselves, with the path beneath our feet. A question rises with each step. For the peripatetics, the walkway itself was part of the education. The path led nowhere but back to where you started. You walked in circles, returning to the same spot again and again. But you returned different each time. You had heard new arguments. You had considered new possibilities. The path remained. You changed. Buddhists would later call this practice. Not rehearsal for some future performance, but a way of living. You walk with attention, not because the destination matters, but because the walking changes you. The covered walkways of the Lyceum were like meditation halls, spaces set apart for a particular kind of attention. Each circuit brought new thoughts, stones underfoot, columns overhead, and through it all, ideas taking shape. Philosophy can seem like a collection of ideas in libraries and classrooms. But for Aristotle, philosophy was something you did with your feet. And Aristotle contributed plenty of those ideas too. His writings filled volumes. Thinkers still argue about them today. But the practice mattered as much as any conclusion reached. The willingness to keep asking, to keep walking beside another person while turning a question over together. Conclusions can be wrong. They get revised or abandoned. But attention stays. Walking and asking stay. These make a philosopher. The path teaches patience. You don't figure everything out on the first circuit. You walk. You think. You circle back again. The walking carries you, whether understanding arrives or not. The Greeks walked in covered gardens, their sandals wearing grooves into ancient stone. They were not alone in this discovery. Far to the east, in monasteries surrounded by mountains, another tradition was taking shape. Walking became practice there too. The historical Buddha spent much of his life walking. We picture him sitting under the Bodhi tree, achieving enlightenment in stillness. That night did happen. But it was one night in a life of movement. After that famous night, the Buddha walked for 45 years. He taught across northern India, never settling in one place for long. His monks were called those who have gone forth. They wandered. They owned almost nothing. A robe, a bowl, maybe a razor for shaving their heads. They accepted whatever food was offered. They slept under trees or in simple shelters. Walking was not separate from the teaching. The Buddha didn't establish a grand monastery and summon students to him. He walked the dusty roads and crossed the rivers. His students followed behind him. Their footsteps traced his. The Buddha taught what he called the middle way. He'd tried luxury as a prince. He'd tried near starvation as a seeker. Peace came from neither extreme. The middle way was different, moving with life rather than against it. Walking embodies this balance. When you walk without agenda, you move at your body's own pace, responding to the terrain, adjusting as needed. Effort without forcing, ease without going slack. The middle way isn't a compromise. Opposites lose their grip on you. The body already knows this when walking. It has known it all along. In Zen monasteries, walking meditation is called kinhin. Monks practice kinhin between periods of sitting meditation, called zazen. They've been sitting for 30 or 40 minutes. Legs crossed, back straight, attention on the breath. Then a bell rings. They stand. They form a line and begin to walk around the meditation hall. Each step takes several seconds. The attention that was focused on breathing now rests on walking, lifting the foot, moving through air, setting it down. This step and only this step. There's no destination. The walking happens within a defined space, around and around the hall. The floorboards worn smooth by generations of feet. Quiet walls holding the silence. Kinhin is meditation. Walking itself is the practice. Walking could seem like what happens between meditations, a chance to stretch, to rest your mind before sitting again. Kinhin does serve those purposes, and kinhin is practice. You carry the same awareness from stillness into movement. The attention you gave your breath, you now give to your feet meeting the floor. The mind stays present, whether the body sits or walks. There's a gap most of us know well, calm on the cushion. Then we stand, walk into the kitchen, and it vanishes. We left our peace sitting on the floor. Walking meditation shows us something different. The body can stay aware while moving. Stillness isn't required. Thich Nhat Hanh brought walking meditation to the West with a soft hand. He never asked people to creep along at a snail's pace. He taught them to walk mindfully wherever they already walked. Parks, city streets, their own backyards. His instruction was soft. Walk as if you were kissing the earth with your feet. That was all. Touch the ground gently. Meet it like you would a friend. You don't have to wait until you reach your destination to arrive, he taught. You are already home. We lean forward into what's next, on our way somewhere, anticipating arrival. The present moment becomes a hallway we rush through to reach the room we want. But the hallway deserves our attention too. Maybe the hallway is enough. When we arrive in each step, there is nowhere else to go. The future is a thought. Good for planning, yes, but still a thought. This step, though, the ground beneath you, the contact between foot and earth, this is real. This is now. Peace lives in the walking. If you can't find it in this step, the next one won't hand it to you either. Steps keep coming. Peace waits where your foot meets the ground. Stop looking ahead. Look down. Feel your weight shift. Arrive. Walking meditation has nothing to do with reaching a pleasant state. You walk with whatever shows up: anxiety, restlessness, sadness. You feel these things in your body as you move. You notice how they shift, how they pass through. They're part of the walking. Difficult emotions aren't obstacles. Walk when you're agitated. Walk when worry follows you around. Keep your feet moving and your attention here, even when your mind wants to run. The rhythm of walking can hold grief or fear without breaking. You don't have to solve anything, you just keep walking. Walking doesn't let you escape your experience. It lets you move through it. Even when the heart is heavy, the body still knows how to move. When grief weighs on us, the body continues. The feet still find the ground. The legs still carry us forward. Flesh holds steady while spirit wavers. Walking won't solve your problems. It won't make the difficult feelings disappear. But it can help you carry them differently. You are also this body, these feet, this movement through space. Take the next step, then another. The walking continues, and so do you. The Buddha's middle way was about avoiding extremes of indulgence and asceticism. The same wisdom applies to walking. The body remembers this middle way, even as the mind wanders elsewhere. Walking without agenda is balance made visible. We walk at the pace that feels right, responding to terrain and to our own energy. The body knows how to walk in balance. We just have to let it. The Buddha walked the middle way. His followers still walk it today, in monasteries and on city streets around the world. And there is another tradition, older even, that found wisdom in walking too. The Taoists knew that the path walks itself when we stop interfering. Water moves without forcing. The ancient Chinese character for Tao shows a head and a foot. It means the way or the path. A path you walk with your body, and the way things unfold on their own, the grain of wood, the current beneath water. The Tao Te Ching is attributed to a sage named Lao Tzu. He may have been a real person. He may have been legend. The words remain. There is a natural order to things, and we can move with it. Walking appears throughout Taoist thought. The sage walks but leaves no tracks. The master walks without knowing he walks. Path and walking belong to each other. The central teaching of Taoism is Wu Wei, non-action or effortless action. Wu Wei does not mean idleness. It means refusing to push against the grain of things. Swimming upstream exhausts you. Floating downstream restores you. fighting reality drains the body. Walking can be forced or allowed. A subtle tension hides in the way we walk, a feeling that we are making something happen. We believe we are in charge, pushing ourselves forward through space. Wu Wei invites us to discover that walking can happen through us. The legs want to move. The feet find the ground on their own. We don't have to make it happen. We stop controlling the walking and let it carry us. The walker fades into the walking itself. The Tao Te Ching uses water as a central metaphor. Water doesn't struggle. It flows around obstacles rather than forcing through them, always seeking the lowest ground. And yet, water carves canyons over millennia. Stone gives way to it. Walking can carry this same quality, gentle and unhurried, but steady. We can flow along the path, letting our pace change as the ground changes. A hill rises ahead, and the body finds its own rhythm for climbing. The ground turns uneven, and the feet find their way without resistance. Water moves through the world by moving with it. Taoism speaks of the 10,000 things, all of existence rising and falling away. Each step belongs to the 10,000 things. The 10th step carries the same weight as the first. Arriving holds no more value than setting out. We tend to think some moments matter more than others. The arrival. Everything in between becomes filler, the boring parts we have to get through. But Taoism offers a different view. A moment can be miraculous and ordinary at once. This step you're taking now is as worthy as any step you've ever taken. We stop waiting for the important step. This step matters. Taoism emphasizes harmony with nature, with the natural order. When you walk through a forest or along a shoreline, you belong to what surrounds you. Your footsteps join those of every creature who has passed this way. The breath of trees mingles with your own. The path wasn't created for you. You're a guest on it. The trail existed before you came and will exist after you leave. The rocks have no interest in your schedule. You're one of the 10,000 things passing through. This humility frees you. You don't need to be the center of the universe to belong to it. Ordinary is enough. You can walk and breathe and be here. That's enough. The Taoist sage doesn't walk to get somewhere. The sage walks because walking is what's happening. The wheel turns. Taoism never fought against circles or paradox. It welcomed statements that fold back on themselves. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao, the opening line of the Tao Te Ching. And the book goes on for 81 chapters, speaking about the Tao anyway. Stop thinking about walking. Walk. Concepts point toward experience. The finger pointing at the moon is not the moon. This meditation is full of words. Words that lead beyond themselves. Walk. Feel the step meeting the ground, the body in motion. Following the natural path means trusting that there is a natural path. This is an act of faith, quieter than the religious kind, a basic trust that the universe isn't hostile. that reality has a pattern we can align with instead of fighting. The Taoists observed nature and saw this pattern everywhere. Rivers flow to the sea, seasons turn, plants grow toward light. Animals know what to eat and where to shelter. Intelligence weaves through all things, and all things unfold without being forced. Humans can resist this intelligence. We fight the current. We exhaust ourselves trying to control what was never ours to control. We push against the way things are. Or we can flow. Walk the path that opens before us, even when we don't know where it leads. The path reveals itself one step at a time. Our job is just to keep walking. The Taoists would say we've talked enough about walking, and they would be right. But before we let the words fall away, there is one more thing to consider: the mind. The body begins to move, and the mind responds. Modern researchers have measured what Taoist and Buddhist practitioners discovered long ago through practice. Scientists have studied walking for decades. Their findings match what walkers have always known. 15 or 20 minutes on foot changes how we feel. Worry loosens, mood lifts. Therapists now prescribe walks as part of treatment for depression. You've done this, gone for a walk when trouble was weighing on you, and returned a little lighter. The effect grows stronger among trees and grass than on concrete. Green spaces and quiet restore us in ways that built environments cannot. Natural settings don't demand focused attention the way cities do. In a city, you watch for traffic and move through crowds. Things grab your attention and pull it where they want. This wears you down. In nature, attention can rest. The trees don't need anything from you. The birds don't care if you notice them. You can let your mind wander while your feet find the path. Soft attention. Walking changes the brain. When we walk, regions tied to memory come alive. So do the ones tied to emotion. Left foot, right foot, left again. This rhythm shapes how the brain takes in the world. One trauma treatment uses this same idea. The eyes move side to side, or hands tap on each knee in turn. The brain softens around old wounds when the body sways between its two halves. But you don't need a therapist's office. You just need to walk. Each step does this work on its own. Walking may be less demanding on the mind than sitting still. You'd think stillness would be easier, but when you sit without motion, attention has nothing to anchor itself to. Thoughts drift. The body grows restless. When you walk, the body offers a focus. Movement gives the mind a place to rest. Each step gives you a rhythm to follow. The world around you shifts and holds your gaze. Your feet meet the ground and keep you here. The walking carries you forward without the struggle that stillness can bring. Researchers describe much of daily life as running on automatic. We move through routines without noticing. We brush our teeth while rehearsing conversations that already happened. We drive familiar roads and arrive without remembering a single turn. The body goes through the motions. The mind wanders off, chasing what's already gone or what hasn't come yet. Efficient, yes, but weeks pass without memorable moments. Life happens, and we're not quite there for it. Walking meditation interrupts this trance. By paying attention to the act of walking, we wake up. We become present for a few minutes. Once you practice this while walking, you start noticing the taste of your food. A friend speaks, and you hear them more fully. Attention sharpens in one place, then shows up in others. Western culture often treats body and mind as separate. Descartes declared, "I think, therefore I am." The thinking self became the real self. The body, just a vehicle. We speak of my body the way we speak of my car. Owned, distant. Eastern traditions understood the unity of body and mind long ago. When you feel your feet on the ground, your mind is doing the feeling. There is no gap between the sensation and the one who senses. Walking brings together what thinking pulled apart. Give your full attention to each step, and the separation fades. The body moves, the mind moves with it. Walking can ease difficult emotions. Anxiety and low moods make us feel trapped. The same thoughts circle back. The body tenses or fidgets without rest. We can't seem to break free. Taking a step breaks that stillness. Restless energy finds a direction. And the rhythm of footsteps can carry what feels too heavy to sit with. You don't need answers, you walk. The steps continue on their own. Movement helps, one more step helps. Even picturing a natural place in your mind has a calming effect. Studies show that visualizing nature, a forest, a beach, a mountain, activates similar brain regions as being there. Softer, yes, but the body still responds. The mind does not always know the difference between vivid memory and direct experience. Lying in bed, unable to walk, you can wander through a forest in your mind. Feel the ground beneath imagined feet. Hear birds that exist only in memory. Your breath slows. Your shoulders drop. Walk when you can. Picture the walk when you can't. The scientists confirm what walkers have known for centuries. Body and mind aren't separate. Movement heals. We know this in our heads. The task is to let it reach our feet. The afternoon walk, the morning stretch. Walking meditation asks for very little. No cushion, no mat, no app, a body and your attention. Other practices need a quiet room, a set hour, certain equipment. Walking needs none of that. You already know how to walk. You have places to go. You can begin now. A hallway works. A parking lot works. You don't need a forest or a retreat center. 15 feet of space is enough. You don't need to look like you're meditating. Many of us hesitate. We picture sitting cross-legged, closing our eyes in public. We worry about appearing too earnest. Walking meditation asks none of this. You're just walking. No one can tell the difference between you and anyone else going about their day. You can do this where sitting would be impossible. Between appointments, through crowded terminals, the walk you are going to take becomes the practice itself. Even 15 minutes can change how you feel. You don't need anything special to happen here. What's already happening is enough. 15 minutes of mindful walking won't bring enlightenment, but it might help you feel at home in your body again. 15 minutes is long enough to settle. The mind needs a few minutes to stop racing. The body needs time to slow down. 2 minutes of mindful walking might never get you past the initial restlessness. 15 minutes lets you settle in. And it fits into almost any day. You already walk for 15 minutes, scattered across dozens of short walks. Gather some of that walking together, give it your attention. The walks you already take can become practice. Your commute, the errand after work, that stroll you take after dinner, or the short walk from your car to the office door. These don't need to change. Your attention does. You're already walking. The question is whether you're there for it. We imagine meditation as separate from daily activity. Walking meditation erases this line. Your afternoon errand becomes your practice. The doing and the being happen together. Think of your morning. You wake up, you walk to the bathroom, then to the kitchen, then to your car or your desk. Your mind has already leapt ahead to what waits for you. But those first steps from bed to bathroom, 30 seconds, maybe less, could hold your attention. Your feet on the floor. The day can wait. No extra time required. The day begins differently when you notice those first steps. Walking with others changes the walk itself. We've talked about the peripatetics, how Aristotle's students learned while moving through gardens and colonnades. The same rhythm appears when you walk beside a friend, a partner, a child. You face the same direction. You share the path. Silence comes without effort. The words we struggle to say come easier when walking. Your feet keep their rhythm, and what needs to be spoken finds its way out. Walking among strangers teaches you something else. You're all moving through the same space, breathing the same air. A city sidewalk becomes a weaving. Bodies adjust, flow past and around one another. Walking changes with the seasons. Summer heat slows you. Autumn coolness sharpens the air. Winter brings the crunch of snow, the bite of wind, the body drawing inward. Spring offers softness, warmth returning, the smell of wet earth. Summer asks patience. Autumn asks you to let go. Winter asks endurance. Spring whispers, begin again. The path stays the same. Everything around it shifts. Your body knows what your mind resists. The world keeps turning, and the walking continues, finding its way through all conditions. And so, the practice enters daily life. The walks you already take, the paths you already know, seen fresh. Let us walk a little further. Walking meditation begins with the feet. The feet are where body meets earth, where you meet the world. The feet are far from the head. When attention drops to them, the center of gravity moves. Mental chatter fades. You're not in your head anymore. You're in your feet. The earth is solid. The feet anchor you when the mind spins. The sensations in the feet are subtle. Pressure against the floor, warmth or coolness, hard tile or soft carpet, weight shifting from heel to toe. These sensations are always happening. The feet are far away and ordinary. You notice them when they hurt, a blister, an ache, but not when they're doing their job. Attention to them pulls you out of your thoughts. The sensations are too immediate for abstraction. The feet hold a wisdom the head has forgotten. They know the ground beneath them. They know how to find the next step without being told. This knowing came before language. It lives in nerve and muscle, in bone. When you were learning to walk, you didn't think your way through it. You felt your way. You wobbled and fell and got up again. The feet learned, and they haven't stopped remembering. The body holds its own kind of knowing. The feet don't know about walking. They know how to walk. No words needed. Standing and walking ask more of you than you notice. If you're standing now, your body makes quiet corrections to keep you upright. Muscles work without being asked. The inner ear reads your position in space and sends signals back. You fall and catch yourself. Walking is controlled falling. You lean forward, begin to tip, and the foot comes out beneath you. Then you lean again. Trust lives here. You trust the body to keep you upright. You trust the foot to be there. You don't think about it. Balance never settles. Even when you stand still, the body keeps adjusting. Weight drifts from heel to toe and back. Small movements make up what looks like stillness. The mind works the same way. We find equanimity and lose it and find it again. We get knocked off center and return. The wobbling itself is where we learn. Walking teaches this. Every step surrenders balance to gravity, then reclaims it. We keep returning. That's enough. You can walk mindfully at any pace. Slow walking, the kind practiced in Kinhin, reveals what speed hides. When you take 10 full seconds for a single step, you feel the heel touch down first. Weight moves through the foot. the toes grip the ground last. Faster walking can hold the same attention. The awareness moves to rhythm and breath. You stop examining each step and feel the whole motion. Slow steps suit one mood. A brisk pace suits another. Walk as you need to. Not everyone can walk with ease. Some move through the world differently. Wheelchairs carry some, canes and walkers steady others, and some remain in bed. Wheeling a chair asks for the same attention as stepping forward. Moving with a cane holds its own balance. Shifting weight in bed becomes practice too, feeling the body settle, noticing sensation, staying present. When movement costs more effort, each motion grows more worthy of attention. Difficulty doesn't close a door. Another one opens. The body you have is the body you practice with. Wisdom asks for no other. Our feet have carried us through our entire lives. Every place you've been, your feet brought you there. They walked you through celebrations and carried you through grief. They took you to places you wanted to go and places you didn't. They never asked for thanks. Gratitude for the feet is gratitude for the body, for life. They deserve a moment of appreciation. The feet know. The body knows. Beneath all our thinking, we know too. Walking is more than transportation. Each step is a kind of arrival. Now let us walk into the deeper teachings, the ones that words can only point toward. Most people think of meditation as stillness. Movement can be meditative too. You can sit still and be lost in thought. You can walk briskly and be present. Attention matters more than posture. Walking meditation brings the same awareness cultivated in sitting to the act of moving. The attention resting on the breath now rests on the step. Many people struggle with sitting meditation. The body aches, the mind races. Stillness feels oppressive rather than peaceful. They try and fail, then conclude that meditation isn't for them. Walking offers another door. When stillness feels impossible, movement waits. The practice bends to meet you where you are. Walking meditation isn't lesser than sitting. It's different. Many find it the way in. Many pair it with sitting practice. Many traditions link breath and step in walking meditation. Inhale for a certain number of steps. Exhale for more. Two teachers might suggest inhaling for 2 steps, exhaling for 3. Another lets the practitioner find their own count. There's no fixed rule here. The breath tends to match movement on its own. When climbing stairs or walking uphill, the breath adjusts to the effort. In walking meditation, we notice what the body already knows. This rhythm settles both body and mind. You don't need to force it. Thoughts will arise during walking meditation. Let them come. You're walking and feeling your feet, and you realize you've been planning dinner for the last 30 seconds. You weren't walking. You were thinking about dinner while your body walked. No matter. This is the practice itself. The moment you notice you've been lost in thought, you return to the feet. You feel the ground. You take the next step with awareness. And then you drift again. You notice. You return. Wandering gives you a place to return from. Thoughts are not enemies. We treat our thoughts as problems. We believe that if we could quiet the mind, peace would follow. Thoughts are natural. They arise on their own. Clouds form in the sky without anyone willing them into being. Thoughts are the same. They appear. They pass on their own too, if we don't grab onto them. Walking meditation offers a way to be with thought. A thought arises. We return to the ground beneath our feet. We don't fight the mind. We keep walking. Most of our walking has a purpose. We walk to get somewhere, to do something. Walking meditation is walking without purpose. We're used to doing things for reasons. We chase outcomes. Nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. Walking remains. This step remains. Purposelessness is the point. Aimless walking becomes its own quiet rebellion in a world obsessed with goals. This moment needs nothing added. This step leads only to itself. Walking meditation holds two things at once: walking and awareness of walking. The body walks. The mind knows the walking, one movement. Difficult to describe, easy to experience. Presence in walking dissolves the separation between the two. Zen calls this just this, walking. And so we walk into the heart of the practice. Purpose falls away. The ancients found this on their paths. It waits for us in every step. When you walk, you belong to the world again. Cars and screens cannot give you this. The ground meets your feet. Air moves against your skin. Wind shifts around you. No walls between you and what is. You move at a pace that lets you notice. We have grown used to sealing ourselves away. Climate-controlled rooms, glowing rectangles, vehicles that shield us from weather. We watch the world through glass instead of living in it. Walking ends that separation. To walk is to touch the earth and breathe air you did not choose the temperature of. You are no longer watching. You have stepped back in. Urban walking asks different things of us. Cities flood the senses. Noise and crowds pull your attention everywhere at once. You can resist this, or you can let it become part of the practice. The honking horns become objects of attention. So do the conversations of strangers and the rumble of a passing bus. We don't need wilderness to practice. We need presence. The city walker learns to find stillness in motion, quiet in noise. Harder than walking through a peaceful forest, yes, but the difficulty teaches its own lessons. The forest teaches one thing, the city teaches another. The practice adapts to wherever we are. Natural settings offer what cities cannot. Traffic disappears. Wind moves through leaves. Birds call and answer. The mind settles here in ways it cannot among buildings and concrete. Green spaces restore us. The brain finds them less taxing. Something in us remembers this older world. Walking in nature reminds us that we are nature. Our bodies share the same elements as the trees and the stones. The boundary between self and forest was always imagined. Walking alone feels different. A slower pace, unhurried thoughts, no need to speak. You stop when your body wants to stop. You move when movement calls you. Your thoughts remain your own, unshared, belonging to the silence between your footsteps. A quiet pleasure lives in being the only human on a trail. Walking with others changes the rhythm. Conversation rises and falls, or comfortable silence settles between you. You go somewhere together, even if that somewhere is just around the block and back again. Some days call for solitude, other days call for company. You know which one you need when you step outside. You walk among companions even when you walk alone. Trees stand along your path. Birds move through branches overhead. The ground receives each step. The 10,000 things surround you. And walking with others, you can still keep your inner quiet. Present with your companions. Present with yourself. The path is ready. So are you. You belong to the earth by walking on it. The ground beneath your feet is not separate from you. Your body is made of earth, the same minerals and water as rocks and soil. When you die, your body returns to the earth. You are borrowed material, held in human form for a while. Your footsteps join the footsteps of all who have walked before. Humans have been walking this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. Other creatures have been walking it for hundreds of millions of years. The ground holds the memory of all those steps. Walking is a way of saying, you are here. You are part of this. You don't earn this belonging. It's already yours. You don't have to prove yourself to the earth. You just have to walk on it. And so you walk through the world, through cities and through forests, in sun and in rain. The world receives your footsteps without judgment. The path opens before you, and in this walking, you arrive at a quiet place. If you know how to receive it, each step is a complete teaching. A step step arises and passes. You can't hold on to it. You can only take the next one. The step you just took is gone. The step you're about to take hasn't happened yet. Only this step exists. And even this step is already passing. You're adjusting as you walk. You find your center, then lose it. Balance isn't a place you reach. It's a process you stay inside. And the foot going forward shows trust. You step without knowing where you'll land. The foot goes into uncertainty and finds the ground. This happens every time, and yet there's always a moment of not knowing, a moment of faith. One step following another shows continuity. No gap between them. The walking flows unbroken. Life moves this way, flowing, not lurching. A step can only happen now. You can't step in the past or the future. The step is here, in this moment. The great teachings point to what's already here. Buddhist and Taoist sages knew this. The Greeks knew it too. A single step holds all of it. And what is more here than walking? Buddhism teaches impermanence. Nothing lasts. Everything changes. There's no gloom in this honest seeing. Look at anything long enough and you'll catch it shifting. Walking is impermanence you can feel. The foot lifts. It hangs there a breath, then lands, and it's gone. You can't hold onto a step or make it stay. Accepting impermanence means accepting reality. Fighting it is fighting existence itself. Accepting it brings peace. The body learns acceptance through walking. The mind argues about impermanence. It wishes things were different. But the body, it walks. Each step passes, and there's no struggle in that knowing. Just the next step. Every tradition points here. Now, the only reality. The past is memory. The future is imagination, plans that may never unfold. Now is real. This breath is what exists. Walking happens in the present. The step is now. Just this foot meeting the ground. The present moment isn't squeezed between past and future. It's all there is. Here, there's room for everything. Eastern traditions teach non-separation. You aren't separate from the path you walk, not from the world, not from each other, not from life itself. This is what you notice when thinking grows still. Walking can reveal this. The boundary between walker and path, between body and air. Look closer, the lines blur. You walk. The ground meets your foot. Are you doing the walking, or is walking happening through you? There is just walking. You are already enough. The world tells you to do more, be more, but a different truth waits in stillness. You don't need to walk better. You don't need to walk with more attention. You just need to walk. You've been a walker your whole life. This breath, this step, you are enough. Here we are. The wisdom of walking isn't exotic. Let's walk a little further into this noticing. Every walk returns to the starting point, to home, to rest. We don't walk forever. We walk and then we stop. We come back changed, even when the home stays the same. We're not quite the same person who left, and yet we return to the same door, the same bed. The wisdom of walking doesn't stay on the path. It comes with us. What we learn in walking shapes how we sit. It shapes how we listen when a friend speaks. We don't need to be walking to remember what walking taught us. The lessons become part of us. Washing dishes holds the same presence as walking meditation. This awareness travels with you. Even when we stop walking, something in us keeps moving. The path remains after we leave it. Earth turns. Seasons shift. Other walkers will pass where we passed, and the world goes on without our attention. Animals move across plains. Plants reach toward light. Planets trace their ancient circles. Our steps join all beings who have ever moved through this world. We walk, and the world walks with us. When we stop, it carries on. Walking and rest belong together. We walk so that we can rest. We rest so that we can walk again. You may be resting now, listening to these words. This rest is also practice. Rest asks the same thing walking asks. Be here. Be willing to be where you are. The wisdom of walking includes the wisdom of stopping. Home is not a place, home is presence. Walking meditation brings you back to this body, this breath. You are home. You are always arriving here. We come home to presence, to this moment. Rest here for a while. You take hundreds of millions of steps in a lifetime. You don't remember the step you took yesterday at 2:15 in the afternoon. You don't remember your 10,000th step or your millionth. They happened. They carried you forward and they vanished. But each one was real. Foot meeting earth. You were alive. You were moving. You can't pay attention to everything all the time. The mind needs rest. Automatic pilot has its place. The practice asks you to wake up to some steps, some walks, a few here and there, enough to remember what walking is. Even a few conscious steps can change a life. Attention builds on itself. Walking becomes other than what it was. Our ancestors walked. Walking was how they moved through the world. They walked to find food and water. They walked toward each other across continents, through ice ages, into every corner of the earth. Our bodies still carry their walking. Our bones evolved for this. Millions of years of bipedal movement shaped our muscles and hips and spine. When we walk, we're doing what our bodies were made to do. We are the descendants of walkers. The wisdom of walking is inherited. Our cells know it. When we walk with attention, we honor this inheritance. We join a lineage older than memory. The path continues beyond this meditation. Tomorrow, you will walk again, to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to work, wherever life takes you. Any of these walks can become practice. The practice lives in the ordinary walks of ordinary days. You don't need to see the whole path. You need only take the next step. We don't know where we're going. Life is a walk into mystery. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. We make plans and imagine futures, but we don't know. There's freedom in that. The next step doesn't require knowing the destination. We can move forward without having it all figured out. Here, now. Walking teaches us to be at ease with not knowing. The path reveals itself as we go. Our job is to keep walking. And so we walk into the mystery. We let the path unfold as it will. We stay here, in this step. We have walked together through ancient Athens and Buddhist monasteries, Taoist mountains, and the quiet paths of the mind. We walked with philosophers and monks, scientists and sages, through seasons and cities, through what was hard and what was gentle. And now we arrive where we always were, here, in this moment, in this body. The wisdom of walking isn't complicated. It asks only that you notice. Notice the ground beneath you, the body that has carried you through your life. Here you are, breathing. The next time you walk, to the kitchen, to the car, you might remember tonight, the feet will find the ground on their own. Wisdom waits there too. You carry it in your bones, in the soles of your feet. You've been walking your whole life. The ancient ones didn't discover anything new. They paid attention to what was already there. Attention, not effort. You don't need to earn the right to take this step, this breath, this moment, already yours. So rest now, if rest is what you need. When you rise, when you walk again, the path will be there. It always has been. One step. Home. With that, we rest. If this journey brought you peace, more await on this channel. Until next time, from Sleepy Nirvana.